Praising the most merciful, highest Haya, Bahashim Mashiach Shine. This is your brother Shema coming to you another lesson. We are the sanctified seed of Jeshurun, set apart offspring of the Most High, chosen, peculiar, treasure in the earth, seeking and hoping and praying to keep His laws, statutes, and commandments of faith in the Mashiach Shine, and walk in the fruits of the Kodash Ruach power. Pray y'all stand prayed up. Pray you got your ears open for the voice of the Most High. Pray you got the eyes, you can see the truth. You can see the snare, see the trap, and avoid it. Pray you're battling with all your spiritual armor on, because the enemy is at work, right? I'm gonna tell you, I want to talk about the rapture for a minute, but through the Spirit, the Most High want me to speak on the things that have to happen before the quote-unquote rapture happens, which what term of rapture means, we're gonna lightly touch that, but we're just going to go over some things that are supposed to happen, because a lot of people, a gang of people, is talking about that this thing is supposed to happen right now. And mind you, the description of it, I guess we can just touch that first lightly, right? We'll touch on that lightly. Now, what is referenced as the rapture, which the word is not in scripture, but what is being referenced, we're going to read that right now. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse, start at 14. For if we believe that Yeshua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yeshua will Ahia bring with him, right? And it's talking about those that died, with the faith in the Mashiach, right? For this we say unto you by the word of the Most High, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Master shall not prevent them which are asleep. So saying those that are alive, right, will get caught up with what? Those that are asleep and that are what? Beheaded according to the word of truth, according to Revelation chapter 20, verse 16. For Yeshua himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Ahia, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. This is talked about Revelation 20, those that are beheaded for the word of truth. If you're martyred for the gospel, right, you're going to rise first, right? Verse 17, then we which are alive and remain, that will be someone like myself or anyone that's alive on the earth right now, shall be caught up together with them in the clouds. Them is Hamashiach, the 10,000 saints, the angels that come with him, and those that were asleep that he raises from the dead. We're going to caught up with them in the clouds to meet the Master in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Master. So, understand, this thing is going to happen when Yeshua returns. But we're going to go over when he returns. And when we see that when he returns is after some things that haven't even started yet, then that should give us some understanding that we don't need to be looking or speaking for this thing to happen, because the Father is not about to change his word because someone is spooked, misunderstood, or don't want to go through what's about to happen, right? So let's go ahead and get started. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. I'll start at verse 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. A man acting like his stomach hurting, like he pregnant, right? Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Everyone's shocked, everyone's dismayed, right? Verse 7. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So what we seeing off the top, right? That this day, right? This tribulation that's coming. There's not going to be a day that you're going to be able to match up and say, you know what, this was just like when I was a little kid when such and such happened. Or this is just like when during World War III and that happened, right? This is what we got to understand, right? Let's go to Daniel. All right. Daniel chapter 7. Let's see. let's see, Daniel 7 and oh wait, let's go to Daniel. Yeah, Daniel 9. Shalakia. Daniel chapter 9, right? Let's see. Okay, we can read Daniel chapter 9 and verse 27. It says, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. This is the last 7 years. And in the midst of the week, in the middle of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. This is food, right? And for the overspreading of abomination, he shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation, even to the end time, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate, right? So this is giving you understanding of some things that are going to happen before Mashiach get back, right? There's another one I want to get. Let me find it. There's another one I want to get, right? Let's see. Let me see. Go back one page. Okay, we'll just skip that one. I don't know where it's at right now. So we'll just go right to Matthew, right? No, I missed that one. It's Matthew chapter 24, right? Matthew 24 and verse 21. But then shall be great tribulation on such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So when he's talking about tribulation, we got to focus on what kind of tribulation it says. Great, which means, as we said, there's nothing we can compare it to, right? There's nothing that we can say, that happened in the beginning of the world up until this time, nor ever shall be. Now, I want to break down this word great so we can get some more breakdown on that, right? Let's go to Matthew, right? Let's see. I think we're going to go to Psalms. Check one preset right here. Yep, let's go to Psalms. Psalms 119. Okay, Psalm 119 and 165. It says, great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. So this is comparing great peace to being in a situation where nothing can bother you, right? There's nothing that you can compare great peace to in reference to regular peace. There's some peace where it can be disrupted. Somebody making some noise, some dogs barking, gunshots flying, right? But this is saying it's great peace, right? Shall come. It says, great peace have they which love thy law, right? Let's get another one. We want to understand what great is so we can understand this tribulation, right? Psalms 145 and 3. Great is the Most High, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. There's no power that's great. There's no praise that's ordained by the Most High that can be equated to of any other worship of any other power. We already know there's no power as great as the Most High, right? So this is showing you the exclusiveness of something when it's called great. Let's go get some more, right? Samuel. Let's go to Samuel. Okay, Samuel chapters, 2 Samuel chapter 7, and we read verse 9. And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and have cut off all thine enemies, right? Talking about King David, out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name, right? Like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth. So we look at the great name, right? David, he's known for what? Killing his thousands. Saul was like, they were saying Saul, they were saying things about Saul. He killed his thousands, but David killed his 10,000s, right? So there was another name. There's not another name to compare to the might of David as a warrior, right? His name was great, King David, right? We also get 2 Samuel chapter 7 and verse 22. Wherefore thou art great, O Ahiah power. Now it's describing the greatness of it, right? For there is none like thee. See this? Neither is there any power besides thee. So you can't compare him with any other power that's great. According to all that we have heard with our ears, right? And what one nation in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel, whom Ahiah went to redeem for a people to himself, and to make him a name, and to do for you great things, right? What are some of the great things that he did for us? Great things and terrible for thy land, before thy people, which thou redeemest to thee from Egypt, from the nations and their powers. Let's look at some of the great things, right? That let's see. Let's look at some of the great things that I did for us, right? Deuteronomy. Yeah, Deuteronomy. Because he redeemed us to be a people unto him, right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6, right? Keep therefore and do them, talking about the laws, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. Why? Because we're the only nation that got the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You can't compare these laws to any other. So you can't compare us to any other. We're set apart and termed as great, right? There's nothing you can compare to this, right? Verse 7, for what nation is there so great? Right? Who hath a highest so nigh unto them, as the most higher power is in all things that we call upon him. And what nation is there so great, that has statutes and judgments so righteous, and all this law which I set before you this day, right? So you're seeing, when it comes to the word great, you can't compare it to anything, right? Some people are seeing things right now, like, man, look at these floods. It's crazy, right? Most High must be finna come back. Look at this earthquake. All right? Look at all this ruckus, how they run around snatching people off the streets, deporting them. Police still killing people. Why are all this crazy stuff happening, right? If this is supposed to be the Great Tribulation, there's not supposed to be nothing to compare to. Because we're showing you when it comes to something great, there's nothing to compare to. All right? Let's get one more. 1 Samuel. We gotta be strong out here, y'all. We can't be dismayed, man, by the stuff we're seeing. That's why I'm telling y'all so much. Don't be worried, man. Don't be distracted out here, man. This stuff has to happen. Don't be worried like that, man. This is 1 Samuel 12 and 24. Only fear the Most High and serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider how great things he had done for you. What'd he do? He opened the Red Sea. Can you say that happened before? Right? How did he open the Red Sea up and show and did this wonder before any other nation? Right? Talk about Leviticus, how he ever took another nation to him and showed them wonders, laws, statutes, commandments, right? Let's see if we can get that right quick. Right? Just when it comes to talking about the greatness, right? The greatness of how the Most High saying this tribulation is about to be. Then we can start to define and understand if, is this thing happening yet? Right? Because we can't, get spooked. We can't start throwing things out there that are not true, right? Let's see. Let's see. That's how I wanna get it right here. Man, the second one, man. I ain't finding, you guys. Scripture in the law says, what nation is the Most High took unto himself, right? Show signs and show wonders, deliver them out of captivity, and all these things. I'm trying to find it. It might have been Deuteronomy. Okay. I don't want to read that part though. But I mean, what it's basically telling you that it's things that, what are things the Most High done? He ain't descended upon a mountain and showed his laws, statutes, and commandments to other people before. He ain't did all signs and wonders on a nation to make sure they let us go. You know what I'm saying? You haven't done none of these things, man. These are dreadful things. These are signs and wonders that are great, right? That the world have not seen, right? Let me look and get around. And then if I don't see it there, we'll just keep going. Alright. Y'all bear. Alright. Bear with me. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Salak is right here. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and let's see. Let's start at verse 30. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, this is the great tribulation that's being talked about. If thou turn to the Most High thy power, and shall be obedient unto his voice. Verse 31, for the Most High thy power is a merciful power. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he swore unto them. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day the Higher created man upon the earth, and ask from one end of heaven unto the other. This is giving you proof. What are you talking about? See if you can find this out, right? Whether there had been any such thing as this great thing is, or had been heard like it, right? What is this great thing he talking about? Getting these laws, statutes, and commandments, descending on the mountain, the things I just described to you, right? Verse 34, or hath, verse 33, did ever people hear the voice of a higher speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard and lived? This is a great thing, right? Hasn't ever happened before. Verse 34, or hath I essayed to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation, by contentions, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by the mighty hand, and by the stretched out arm, and by great terrors, according to all that Ahijah your power did for you in Egypt before your eyes? Right? So these are great things, as you can see, that ain't never happened before. Right? So when we're looking at the great tribulation, right, we need not look at it like, oh, it's something that my shack must be about to come, because this stuff happening is crazy. No, everything that's happening right now can be compared easy. This stuff's been going on. All right, it's been going on. Let's get another one. It's another one I want to get. In Kings, right? Let's get this one in Kings. I think it's Second Kings. All right, listen to this one. Right, this is 2 Kings chapter 19 and verse 34. For I will defend this city to save it for mine own sake and for my servant David's sake. Right, verse 35. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Most High went out and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000, 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. Right. So until you hear about 185,000 people dying in one night, not even a whole day, in one night, you can't say that we in a great tribulation. You can't say that's right now, because it's supposed to be worse than this. It's supposed to be greater than this. Y'all understand? Let's hit another verse right quick in regards to that, right? 185,000 people dying in one night. You hear me? In one night. This is St. John. Right quick, right? St. John chapter 11 and verse 9. Yeshua answered, are there not 12 hours in a day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of the world. So this is talking about within 12 hours, right? We can say that scripture. Within 12 hours, 185,000 men lost their life. Not even a whole day. Until you see that, right? You can't say we're in the Great Tribulation. You can't say that, because the Great Tribulation said there's none like it. Let's read it again. Right? Let's read it again. We understand what this is. Matthew 24 and 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Right? So, if anyone's telling you, right, that we're in it right now, that's not true. Right? Because as we see, when it turns to great, it means it refers to things that cannot be compared to. All right, as we're going through all these scriptures. Now, let's look at tribulation to understand what tribulation is. Right? Now we're gonna go to Matthew 13, or is it 12? All right. Let's go to Matthew 13, and we're gonna start at verse 21. Yet had he not root in himself, but endured for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended. So, tribulation, go ahead. Tribulation, right? When we talk about tribulation, one of the things that the scripture is likening it unto is persecution, right? Are there some people of the Christian faith being persecuted in the world? Yes, right? Even though that's the wrong doctrine. They believe on the Mashiach and they're getting persecuted for his name, right? But that doesn't mean that we're in the great tribulation. Let me give you an example of the persecution that's going to be going down in reference to the great tribulation, right? Right quick. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, and verse 70. For there shall be in every place, so not just in one spot, not in one city, one country. For there should be in every place, and in the next cities, a great insurrection, a different type of insurrection they never seen before, upon those that fear the Most High. Fear the Most High means you keep his law, statutes, and commandments, right? Verse 71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Most High. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Right? Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. So understand, right? The great tribulation is likening unto persecution. We're reading what that type of persecution is. And that ain't happened yet. So we're not in the great tribulation. Therefore, the rapture, ain't, quote unquote rapture, is not even about to happen. All right. Everybody talking about Yeshua, he ain't finna come back right now, you guys. It ain't. He's got a minute. I'll keep telling y'all. Right. It's a minute before he come back. Right. Let's get some more bringouts on what tribulation is. Right. So we can know if we in it yet, if it's happening, right? This is what we're going into, Once I wanted me, I told you I wanted to do a scripture lesson on the rapture, but man, I had to go into this. Let's get Romans 2, right? Romans 2. In fact, I'll go to Romans 9 first. No, Romans. We'll go to Romans. Yeah, Romans 2. This is Romans chapter 2 and verse 9. Tribulation and anguish, right? Upon every soul of man that doeth evil. Anguish is like really, really hard and bearable emotions toward something negative, something that's not going your way, anguish, tribulation, and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first, and also of the Gentile, right? Let's get Romans 8 and 35, right? Romans 8 and 35. Who shall separate us from the love of a Mashiach? Shall tribulation or distress? So what's inclusive of tribulation is distress or persecution. That's the second time we see that. Famine or nakedness or peril, which is dangerous, or sword, which is war, right? These are the things that are consistent and define tribulation, right? And it has to be the sword or war on a great scale. It has to be famine on a great scale, dangers on a great scale, persecution on a great scale. You understand? Nakedness on a great scale, meaning wanting, not having, right? This is what has to be described and recognized when it comes to tribulation, and it has to be great. Y'all understand? Let's go back and get one more Revelation, right? Revelation. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. So another thing in regards to tribulation, poverty, right? Like we said, nakedness, not having enough, struggle, right? I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, because what? We are the sons of the Most High. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, we are rich. And I know the blasphemy of them of which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. They're getting judged right now. They're going through some type of anguish right now, right? Verse 10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Don't be fearful, because the battle's already won. We already got the victory. We just got to play it out. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Going into prison. Getting snatched up. Right? That's part of tribulation. That's part of anguish. Right? The devil shall throw some of you in prison that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. You see this? It's explaining to you what the tribulation is clearly. Right? Most I got to try. He said those men that he have chosen, he tests them, he tries them in the furnace of adversity. Right? Paraphrasing. You shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So we got to be faithful through this, right? Unto death. No matter what they do to you. They come lock you up. They come threaten you to take this technology, right? It says that you're not supposed to love your life until death like the apostles. They're our example, right? And that's at that head, it might take their head, right? But the Most High will raise you up first, right? So you seen what tribulation is. Let's run over to Revelation right quick and get that about those that get raised up in reference to the quote unquote injected word into the scripture rapture, right? It's Revelation 20 and verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yeshua and for the word of Ahiah, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received the mark upon their foreheads or in their heads, and they lived and reigned with the Mashiach 1,000 years. So they're going to get raised up first, and they're going to live and reign with the Mashiach for 1,000 years. To go back over to touch on one more thing, right? Before we see. Okay, yeah. All right. Let's go back over to Matthew now. Matthew 24 and verse 29. What does it say? Immediately after the tribulation of those days. After the great tribulation, this is what's going to happen. Shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Right? And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. In the firmament of heaven right here. So this is why I'm going over this. If we ain't been through these trials, these tribulation, this great tribulation, of things that have never happened on the earth since the beginning, now, and never will be, then the Messiah, you can't be saying the Messiah is about to come, the rapture is about to be here. That's not true, you guys. I don't care how many people tell you they had dream that said he about to come. That's not true. What does 1 John 5:7 say? Three that bear record in heaven, the Father, the Word, which is what I'm reading, and the Spirit. And these three are one. They have one mind. They have one understanding. They're not in contrary to each other. So the set apart spirit is not going to give somebody a dream. The Most High is not going to give somebody a dream that says contrary to this right here. It says immediately after the tribulation, right? It's immediately after the tribulation of those days. We just read to you what tribulation is. We read how great the tribulation is going to be, right? Shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. All that stuff got to happen. Has the sun darkened, and the moon not shined, right? All the stars fell from heaven. Is the whole sky black? So when the Mashiach comes, you can see him clearly because he's going to be the only light coming in the sky? No. And the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, just like we just read another verse. And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. This is when a rapture situation, right? That they call in the rapture. Second Thessalonians chapter 4 situation is going to happen. Not going to happen right now because ain't nothing happened yet. Let's get a verse. Bring things a little bit more clear. Make things a little more clear. This is Acts. No, I think it's, let's see. I think it's Acts 4. Let's see. This is Acts. No, it's Acts. Hold on. Let's see. 13. I think it's 13. Hold on. Here we go. Acts 14:22. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them, encouraging them. I'm encouraging y'all, right? Endure to the end. Exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, great tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. Christian faith tell you, oh, you're going to get raptured before the tribulation starts. Don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about the prophecy. Don't worry about the book of Revelation because you're not even going to be here. That's not true, y'all. All right. And unfortunately, this same type of doctrine is being taught in the Israelite faith because they're telling you no matter where you go, the destruction is going to chase you. Right? Referring to those weak men during the time of Jeremiah prophesying, saying that they will go down into Egypt and escape the captivity of Babylon. And then the judgment caught them there in Egypt. This is not that situation. The Most High has spoken. He said, come out of her, my people. Let's read it again. All right. This is being taught in Israelite faith that the chariots are going to come get you while you're still alive. Right? We just read to you. It's going to happen after the Great Tribulation. How come this? How come you? I don't understand how that's not seen. That's so easy. It's right there. That would mean the Messiah is coming. And then this is another thing you got to understand. It's so many ways we can talk about this. So many things. Let's just stay in order. Jeremiah 51:6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Most High's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Let's get it in another verse. And then we're going to come right back over there. Talk about the Medes. All right. This Zechariah chapter 2 Verse 6, Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, North America, saith the Most High, for I spread you abroad as the four winds of heaven, saith the Most High, deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughter of Babylon. Right? It's clear. Let's read it again. Now, with 2 or 3 witnesses, shall every word be established, right? Revelation 18 and 4. And I heard another voice come from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive none of her plagues. Right? Because you're supposed to get up out of there. But in the mainstream Israelite doctrine, every camp will tell you, don't go nowhere. Don't listen to that. Wherever you go, you're going to get caught up. Wherever you go, you're going to get that judgment. I'll just read the one verse right quick, right, since we in Revelation, to show that's not true. There's a remnant that ain't going to go through nothing, according to the scripture. This Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Right? So when they're running around spoiling those, right, persecuting them, there's going to be a remnant, right, that the Most High said, I'm going to keep you from the hour of temptation, right? So whoever telling you, right, that it don't matter where you go, you're going to get it, that's not true, right? And it's probably the brethren that don't deal with extra biblical texts that give you more understanding about this, right? This walks you through it too when you go to Hosea 2:14 and 15 and Ezekiel 20:34 to 37 and 38. It walks you through it. But for what we're going through right here, I'm telling you, there's going to be some that get kept from our temptation. All right, so let's go back to Jeremiah. All right, and this is something else that's supposed to happen before the what people call the rapture, right? And this is happening right now. This is on the doorstep right now. This is Jeremiah 51 and 11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Most High had raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. These are the Iranians, modern day, for his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Most High, the vengeance of his temple. So understand, they're threatening America with nukes yesterday. They just did that yesterday, right? We know a nuke can do enough damage to destroy a whole country, right? The Great Tribulation, I got to tell you, and I think I told y'all this before, the Great Tribulation and the things thereof don't all have to happen in Babylon. America is just one country in a whole world that the Most High is going to judge. It's just one country in the whole world is going to judge, right? He said he's going to make that place like Sodom and Gomorrah. That don't mean every plague have to hit there before he make it like Sodom and Gomorrah. We've been over the lessons, all right? This show that what? America's not going to endure to the return of a Mashiach, right? Let's just look a little bit more about the Great Tribulation, so we can get our mind set, right? Those y'all that are in Babylon, those that can't leave or don't want to leave, get your mindset on what you're going to be having to deal with, right? And the things that you will be able to identify if you're in the Great Tribulation yet or not, right? This is Second Esdras, right? Yeah, Second Esdras chapter 16, and we'll just start reading at 18. The beginning of sorrows. That's what we're coming up on right now. That's what we're in right now. Transitioning, about to go into the Great Tribulation. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. So there's going to be mourning, sadness, and whining and wailing that the world ain't never did before, because of things happening that have never happened before. Destruction, devastation, woe, to a level that the world has never seen before, right? The beginning of famine and great death that the world has never seen before, that you can't compare it to. The beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? What you going to do? All right? Psalm 91. If you're not in Babylon, Psalm 91, that better be what you better do. Right? Make the secret place of the Most High your refuge. Right? Verse 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation, and anguish are sent as scourges For remember, these things are already declared to happen. Babylon is already declared to get judgment. You can't stay there and pray that this goes away. Okay, this has to happen. And you're not going to get a visitation of a Mashiach to get you from there before this tribulation go full-fledged. Right? Verse 20, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. There's things happening right now. No one's saying anything. There's nothing wrong. Oh, okay, yeah. Uh, um, it's floods all over the world. Yeah. It's animals leaving Yellowstone Park. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Oh, Trump, man, passing a law saying ain't no more money, and now it's all digital, and they scanning eyeballs, and you know, you got to pay with your hand in New York at the dumb Whole Foods. Oh yeah. No one would care to have any type of sense to consider how much danger you're in, right? That the great tribulation right up on your doorstep, right? Verse 1, and behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth. There's going to be a time, right, real soon, where they're going to persuade you, right, to take this medicine so you can get back access to your money. When they deny you your bread and they say you want to get access to your money, all the inflation is going to go away and victory is going to be cheap on the earth. They shall think themselves to be in good cause. You know what? We straight. I really ain't got to go nowhere. Whoever left, they dumb. Look at all this stuff. It's dirt cheap. We straight, right? And even then shall evils grow up on earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Are y'all seeing how easy it is to break this word down when you understand what it means? Great confusion that the word has never seen before. More confusion than the Tower of Babel, right? You gotta go there now in the spirit. What happened to the Tower of Babel? Everybody had one tongue, one language, and confusion was nowhere to be found because everyone was able to communicate the same language, right? Let's get Genesis 11 and 1. And the 11 and 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, they communicated to one another, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. One tongue created them an opportunity to have one mind, to be able to have this one goal, one plan, and accomplish it, right? And the Most High came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men built it. And the Most High said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they began to do, and now nothing will be restrain them, which they have imagined to do. So what do he do? Go to, let us go down there and confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. Right? It's going to be greater confusion than that, because what happened? If you're reading the book of Joshua, tell you, man, that the words they were saying to each other, they weren't being understood. People was throwing rocks to people when they was not being told to throw them to them. People was falling off the building, and they was like, look, let's just stop. This ain't working out no more. It was great confusion at the Tower of Babel when they got scattered. It's going to be greater than that. You understand? Verse 22, for many of them that dwell on the earth shall perish of famine. You're going to hear about mass casualties from people starving to death. That's when you're going to know we're in great tribulation. You're not hearing that right now. You might hear about some people in Gaza. That's not mass. All right. And the other that escaped the hunger shall the sword destroy. So it's going to be a gang of people dying. A record number of people dying from famine, and a record number of people dying from the sword, from warfare. Right? Verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. I mean, ain't nobody going to be burying the dead. They're going to be laying in the street. Talk about this in Revelation 11. You're going to be dead bodies laying in the street for how long? 3.5 years. Same length of the Great Tribulation. Right? Verse 24, there shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. Nobody going to be planting seeds, vegetables, fruits, berries, watermelons, apples. Right? The grapes shall the trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? Nobody gonna be getting from the trees. Gonna be trees all over the world, full of fruit. The grapes shall ripe, and who shall tread them? And all the places shall be desolate of men. That's when you're going to be able to start to understand when a Mashiach is coming. When the earth looks like this, you guys, so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. You're like, man, where everybody at? I ain't heard another dude talking to me in months. Where's everybody at? This is what it's going to be looking like. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rock. What is that talking about? Now you got what? You got bunkers underground being built, right? But is anybody in them yet? No. You got some people living underground, yes, but have all your wealthy or rich, have all of them, have they ran and fled into the bunkers? Right? Have they done this yet? Let's go and look at this, right? This is Revelation, right? Revelation. Okay, Revelation chapter 6 and verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. Matter of fact, we go up because this is, verse 13. Revelation 6 and 13. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree cathereth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. This is what Yeshua was talking about, Matthew 24. The stars shall not give their light. Verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. Verse 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, the rich, the wealthy, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. These is your underground bunkers, y'all. Right? And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Right? This ain't happening yet. It's not happening yet, man. There's going to be people in the bunkers when Yeshua gets here, right? And it talks about how we're going to go in there and get him out. We're going to go in there and say, hey, come here. We're going to go get you up out of there, right? You're not going to be able to hide forever. You'll hide for a little while, but we're going to come get you, right? Going back to Revelation. Okay, slack here, y'all. Back to I'm still in Second Ezra, chapter 16. I'll start back up at verse 20. As in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives, or when as a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so, in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. It's going to be barely anybody left. It says 3 or 4, right? And the earth shall be laid waste. Remember the Most High said he create the waster, right? And the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travail there through. So it's barely going to be anybody on the earth when Yeshua comes back. This is what it's saying. There's people everywhere, right? Verse 33, the virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The woman shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. This is why it's going to be 7 women taking hold of 1 man. That man that's righteous, that man that got the spirit of the Most High, that man got prudence, right? Because it's barely going to be any men. They're going to be dying through what? Verse 34. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and the husbands shall perish of famine. Verse 35. Hear now these things, and understand them, ye servants of the Most High. Behold the word of the Most High. Receive it. Believe not the powers of whom, believe not the gods of whom the Most High spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. This thing is not finna chill out because you're not ready. It's not about to slow down because you got the spirit of the Most High in you. These things are prophesied from old. They're going to happen. Verse 38. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son within 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains like have never been before, compass her wombs, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so, the same type of great pains, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrows shall come upon it on every side. Not just in China, where they're getting fired, hot, getting burnt, right? Not just in Texas, where they're getting flooded to death. The whole world's going to mourn. When the whole world's in mourning, then that's when you know the great tribulation is even going on. If these things that I'm all reading to you are not happening, you guys, you got to understand, you're not in a great tribulation. And you don't need to be saying, Mashiach about to be here. He about to come get us. We're about to go home. No, you're not about to. No, you're about to endure through much tribulation. And maybe you can make it, right? Let's skip Matthew. And that'll be it. Mashiach teaching the whole lesson today, man. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. The person that endures to the end, that's who gonna get saved. So be strong, be diligent, be faithful, don't waver, gird up your loins like men. All you men, all you he ghosts, raise up, lead this flock, man, because this thing that we know as rapture, it's not going to happen until immediately after the days of tribulation, right? I pray. Y'all hear this word? Pray y'all strengthen yourself, pray your fast. The Most High give you strength. Because if you haven't been building up your strength, you haven't been enduring every trial and tribulation of your life to build up your character, you're not going to be able to stand and endure what's about to happen on the earth, right? I can touch on a couple more things, WHO running their mouth, man. They about to reset this thing, y'all. If you can't get your money out the bank, you better get your debit card and start buying some stuff that got value. Buy you some gold, buy you a solar power generator, buy you some gas and put it in your backyard. Buy some stuff so you can be able to barter and trade it for something. Buy you bulk rice, flour, canned goods. Get something for your money while you can still spend it without having to have the technology in you. You understand what I'm saying? You better do something with it. No matter how much that hard-earned money, passed down inheritance, however you got that stuff you got, you're not going to be able to use it very soon unless you got the dumb medicine, you guys. I'm trying to tell y'all. Man. These days are here, right here. Don't be fearful. Just do what you're supposed to do. Do what you're supposed to do. My shotgun warn this. Do what you're supposed to do. Be prudent. Be wise. Tell the Most High, order your steps, man. And if you have that option, if you have the opportunity, come out of Babylon like the scriptures say. Because that place is not going to endure to the return of the chariots of the Most High. Bring it back a Mashiach. It's not finna be there. Right? But I got some understanding today. But I think things might be made a little more clear to you. For some of y'all, prayer is a whole lot clearer to you. And know that you don't have an option of a rapture situation to deliver you if you live in Babylon. If you stay in Babylon, you got to leave there. Encourage you again. Look at the videos. Revelation 17, they're on the page. Revelation 17 and the beast. And 2nd Ezra 11 and 12 and the eagle. Give you clear understanding that Babylon will not endure to the return of our big brother, Hamashiach Yeshai, right? With that, I'm going to let y'all go. We good over here, as usual. Glory to the Most High, seeking Him, serving Him, surrendering all to Him, right? We right here, you guys. Surrender your life, surrender your soul, surrender your desires. Let the lust of your heart be to the Most High and His commandments, and to commune with Him always, right? He said, with such sacrifices, the fruit of your lips is He well pleased. Man, thank Him, y'all. Thank Him for every little thing, right? There was a loss out, this way with one of the brethren, elder brother. Man, cool brother, man. I don't live up in the mind where he lives, so I didn't really get to spend as much time with him as I could have and as I wanted to. But the last time I saw him, which was when I came before y'all, when I was up in the city, man, we had a real good conversation, had a good, good time, man. Just, talking about some things. We got to be prepared, y'all. The day tomorrow is not promised to everybody, right? Be thankful for every moment. We need to have that mindset. Be thankful for every moment you have. Let your moments be with the Most High, Let him be with him in meditation, man. Thank him for everything, man, because these things are about to come up on the earth. I be read, right? Make sure you do the things, man. Enjoy yourself unto the Most High. Let him high look at you eligible by the election of grace, not of works, to endure these said perils, man, and see the kingdom, right? We trying to get to Zion. We trying to get to the Most High sanctuary. We trying to get where we can be having a wall of fire around us, roundabout, and dwell safely in our land, right? Most High, man, strengthen y'all. Most High, continue to lead y'all in wisdom, truth, patience, long suffering. Don't be lukewarm at the end. Let's finish strong, right? I praise in the most mighty, highest, Shua, Hayabah, Hashem Yeshai, Kwam Yasharala. Shalom, family.